Good afternoon. Got a few things I want to talk about. The number one thing I want to talk about is what's happening with the federal courts and the federal government in the Patriots and the Bundys. We just learned a few days ago that this Judy Steen, Judge Judy Steen, remember that name, has declared that there will be secret trials for the Bundys and the Patriots. Imagine that, secret trials. Why? Why are they going to have these secret trials? Because they don't want the people to know the truth. Now, here's the truth. Here's the actual facts. The federal government has no case. It's all based upon fraud. If the federal government cannot show title or deed to the Malheur Refuge or to the Bundy Ranch, they have no case. Do you understand that? If the federal government comes into your house and just steals your house from you, takes it from you, even though you got a title and you got a deed to that house and to that land, how would you feel? How would you feel? You would know that you've been robbed. And you take them to court, you go to court, and you end up in federal court, and the plaintiff, you find out, is actually the federal government. Okay? Because they think they got right to steal your property, so they are the plaintiff. The judge is a federal judge. The court is a federal court. The prosecuting attorney is a federal prosecuting attorney. And your defense attorney is also federal. How in the world are you going to get justice from that situation? So, the federal government stole this land in increments from different ranchers going back to like early 1900s, okay? And they've never been able to show title or deed to any of that land because Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 specifies that if the federal government wants state land, they have to buy it with the consent of the legislature. Now, if you go to a post office or if you go to a federal courthouse, they can show you. They can show you deed and title to that land. Okay? Because it was purchased by the consent of the legislature. It's very, very simple. And they have no case. Now this conspiracy charge goes all the way back to the Civil War. And during the Civil War, the South had this called the secessionists. And they literally did take over federal courthouses. They literally did take over docks, ports, magazines, etc., that were authorized by the Enclave Act, which is Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 of the U.S. Constitution. It provided for those things. Nowhere in there does it provide for a refuge or anything else. But you got this BLM, Bureau of Land Management, that steals the rancher's property and sells it to their misfits, you know, like judges, like Judge Anna Brown, who bought BLM property in Montana that was stolen by the BLM. You know, they're talking about Hillary Clinton and this mass of corruption and deceit that she's ahead of. Folks, they're all corrupt. They're all connected. That's why Comley and the FBI is not going to prosecute or did not recommend Loretta Lynch to prosecute Hillary Clinton because they're all involved in it. They've all been stealing the people's property for various reasons. The main reason, as I said over and over again, they need the collateral to be getting back into the international banking system to be competitive. Okay? And even that's kind of questionable. You know, they just want to outright steal it. Let's compare that to Cliven Bundy and his property there around Bunkerdale. I'm not talking about his private property. I'm talking about the property that he has a title and deed to, which is recorded in Clark County, Nevada. His grazing rights, his water rights. He has title to that. It's recorded in the county courthouse of Clark County in the state of Nevada. Whoa! How in the world did the federal government get 2 judgments against Clive and Bundy? I'll tell you why. It's all corrupt. The federal government's not federal. It's not our government. You got some individual by usurpation has taken over everything. Okay? These are foreign entities. They're foreign entities. And people got to get this through their brain. The federal government has no case. Okay? None whatsoever. If they can't show title and deed to these lands, which they cannot, it's over with. Everything after that is a joke. See? That's what they're building their entire case on. Whether it's, gun violations on federal property or impeding federal officers from their duties and work or whatever. It all falls apart. It all falls apart at that point. And they are grabbing at straws. Case in fact, case in point, Pete Santilli. They know that was false testimony. It was actually perjured testimony. Pete Santilli was someplace else December 22nd. He was not in Harney County at a committee of safety saying the things this man said about we're going to get militia people out there and we're going to take all this land from the federal government. No, he was in jail in Ohio. And that was trumped up charges of concealed weapon permit. I mean, he had his concealed weapon permit just because of this government. It showed him as a domestic terrorist, a potential domestic terrorist, something along that lines. And then you got your local law enforcement, the big idiots they are, they got that compartmentalization. They just do their job no matter how much it hurts somebody else. They're just on this need-to-know basis from their superiors, and they don't see the bigger picture, and they don't want to see the bigger picture. Anyhow, in that case, it probably helped Pete out, because Pete definitely was not at that meeting in Harney County, okay, or Grant County, whichever county it was. I believe it was Harney County that they're talking about. So, can you imagine? I mean, a guy still in prison from some bullshit, trumped up charge with absolutely no basis in fact. I mean, this just shows how corrupt this supposed government, I don't call it government, it's a dictatorship, it's tyranny, is totally corrupt, and it's taken our fellow citizens and railroading them in prison. And this is where you get into the Patriot Act. Why are they doing it? I tell you, I told you, I'll tell you again, it's all rooted in the Patriot Act. Indefinite detention. Obama signed that executive order that he could detain anybody as long as he wanted. Wake up, people! That's what's happening! And it'll happen to you. And they don't care if it's private property either. They're going to take your private property under Agenda 21. And if you allow this crap to go on, you deserve it. And I'm not going to apologize for getting angry and getting loud. This is so despicable. When you compare the Clive and Bundy situation to what these people are doing, he has title to that property. And I'm specifically referring to the grazing rights and the water rights. The government cannot show any title because they did not purchase it with the consent of the legislature. And everything they legitimately own, they can show a title to. And if that goes bye-bye, their whole case goes bye-bye. They have nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now, is this judge going to allow, or is this judge Are these judges, I should say plural, Judge Anna Brown, Judge Judy Steen, are they going to allow that defense? I doubt it very much. That's why they're going to secret trials. You get it? Secret trials, just like in communist Russia and communist China, Nazi Germany, and every other dictatorial country there's ever been, where they steal your citizens right out from underneath you. They steal all your property. They steal all your rights. They steal everything from you. Yes, I am angry. I am incredibly angry. And it's all I can do to keep from using profanity and branding these people the low-life scum they really are. People, we're not doing enough. We are not doing enough. And this will become a type and shadow to every human being in this country if we don't do something. That's why I'm not against these protests. That's why I'm not against the protests of Black Lives Matter or the Black Panthers. That's why I am for them carrying firearms. Because they have that right. Sure, they got provocateurs, agent provocateurs amongst them. You know what? Agent provocateurs come out of everywhere because that's the government. This corrupt government that does that. Just like out the refuge. Those agent provocateurs that were out there that really caused the trouble. That told lies and deceit. Like Anthony Boswell, for one. And I can mention a whole bunch of others. And that gets me off on all these other people. John Ritzheimer is not an agent provocateur. He was not working for the federal government. That's bullshit. Blaine Cooper wasn't. That's bullshit. I know the ones that were. And their names will come out eventually. Anyhow, these are good men. These are good men that went to help their fellow man. Dwight and Stephen Hammond are still in prison. Double jeopardy. Double jeopardy. And you people there in Oregon, you let it happen. You let it happen. Sheriff Ford, you disgust me, you scumbag. Judge Grosky, you disgust me, you scumbag. And Kate Brown, you disgust me. May everything that you've done to those people happen to you tenfold, according to the scriptures and according to the curse that you are now under. And those county commissioners, Dan Nichols, same thing, tenfold. You allow that to happen to your fellow man, you deserve every horrible thing that happens to you. Same thing with Bill Keebler over there in Utah. What they did to him. They set him up. Fabricated evidence. The judge knows it. He knows it. And what did he say? Well, I can't take a chance. You know, I can't take a chance. I got to keep him in here till trial. Indefinite detention. These people are not going to see the light of day if we don't do something. You know, everybody needs to just like that Joseph Robertson. What, they had a couple dozen people there? That's it? There should have been thousands of people there. The Oath Keepers is right there. Stuart Rhodes, get over yourself. You already rolled over. You're playing dead. Oath Keepers, your history. All of you are history. I have absolutely no respect for you. Or the militias up there. You let them take that man and put him in prison for a year and a half. They're taking his property, finding the crap out of him, and all these other tags they put on him. He can't be here, he can't be there, he can't be seen with this person, can't be seen with that person. Yes, and the ponds were on his property for all the idiots said it wasn't. Okay? And the EPA, that's another thing, the EPA is not legislated. Congress never give them any power and authority. The judge is a friggin' liar, lying through his teeth. If that's the case, then we don't have anything already. The government owns the EPA, the BLM, the Forestry Department. They own everything. So just leave America. Just walk out. Leave. They own everything, if that's the case. The lying son of a bitch. And you people allowed him, the sheriff, you scumbag up there, You allowed that to happen? You piece of garbage? Go to hell, because that's where you're going. I am absolutely 100% disgusted. Across the board. Law enforcement. I'm going to get off the subject a little bit here. That man was shot in Florida, okay? A caretaker. Had an autistic young man that wandered away. He's trying to get him back. Now law enforcement saying they're trying to shoot the autistic young man for a toy gun. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. And he just made it almost so much worse. What does that say about your department? What does it say about your training? You're shooting a retarded man for a toy gun, and you missed him so bad you hit the guy. First of all, they're shooting an AR-15 with a scope on it. At less than probably 35 yards, you can see the person's hair nose with that thing. And you want us to believe that you were shooting, because nobody wants to be called a racist. They would rather be called a child rapist than a racist. This is how backwards everything is. So now it's the autistic, retarded man that they're actually trying to shoot and kill, not the black man. Oh, I guess they really don't want to pay as much as they're going to pay to the black man, who they really were trying to shoot, and then handcuff and leave him bleeding. Oh my God. Who the hell believes this crap? You can't make this stuff up. Okay, I got off the track there. Completely off the track. People here are being sold a bill of goods, and it's going to come down and it's going to affect every one of you. Every one of us, if we don't do something. Hopefully, Trump is as good as everybody says he is. I have questions there, I'll be honest. I have questions there. I've been let down. We've been let down so many times in the past. But I'll be damned if I want to see Hillary Clinton as president. That psychopath, sociopath, murderer. I mean, he can't be... Benghazi is just the tip of the iceberg, people. The 47 people that have died around her in the last couple decades, that's just the tip of the iceberg. You know, the authorization as the Attorney General, or excuse me, not the Attorney General, but Secretary of State, to use sarin gas in Syria that killed, whoa, thousands of people, children. That's all her. Obama. These people are mass murderers. Mass murderers of babies and children and innocent people. And we're over there fighting wars that we should never be in. They're unconstitutional. They're immoral wars. And we're killing innocent people. And all you taxpayers that gladly give your money so they can go kill people, you're just as culpable. You're just as much wrong. What if that was your children? Yeah, you'd be pissed off and you'd go join some radical group, I'll guarantee you. Just hoping that you could be able to take some American out. And all you idiots wonder why. You wonder why. This country, America, had greatness at one time. And you got to go a long ways back to find it. You got to go back before World War I. You got to go back before the Civil War. You got to go all the way back to shortly after our founding forefathers to find that greatness. Because ever since the Civil War, that was another bullshit propaganda war. Everybody thinks Abraham Lincoln was so great. He violated the Constitution in so many ways. World War I, World War II, World War III, they're all false flags. We're all drug into it because American people fell asleep at the wheel. You know, the greatest generation, I don't see anything great about that generation. They let the IRS, that's the financial arm of the Illuminati, the Luciferians. And they use it to take over the entire world, the entire monetary system, the entire world. And thank God the Chinese have come up with the Chinese yuan and gold-backed currency. And I hope the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, Bilderbergs, Warburgs, DuPont, shit, every one of them are wiped off the face of this earth. Yes. And anybody that supports them. The Council of Foreign Relations. I hope they're wiped off the face of the earth. The Bushes, Dick Cheney, Rumsfeld, every one of us involved in that. I hope God wipes them all off the face of the earth as soon as possible. They're all mass murders, and they have no sympathy. They have no empathy for the fruit of the womb, for the children, for the old people, let alone the adults that are trying to do something in this country halfway decent. That's why I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket with Donald Trump. Yes, he said some good things. I do not trust any politicians anymore. None of them. I trust them as far as I can spit them. I don't care who they are. I've seen them let the American people down for decades. They turn out all to be liars, filthy liars. And I just pray to God Donald Trump is a real deal. The one thing he's got going for him, he understands that people need their natural resources. They need their constitutional rights to produce. He's a businessman. And maybe that's all it's going to need, or maybe that's all it takes to get things straightened out again. I don't know. I hope to God it is. And we need to hold his feet to the fire. He becomes the president, we need to hold his feet to the fire also. Because you know what? Every congressman and every senator, every single one of these freshman congressmen and senators, as soon as they get into office, they turn. They break all their promises. They break their oath of office. Every sheriff is breaking their oath of office in this country. Every police officer, they don't even read it. Sheriff Mack, to his credit, at least got the sheriff looking at their oath of office. You know, defend the Constitution against all enemies, both domestic and foreign. At least he's done that much. I disagree with him on some other things, which I expressed in the past, but at least he's done that much. And we do have some good sheriffs. We do have some good politicians. They're few and far between. They're as rare as hen's teeth, believe me. And a lot of these sheriffs, as soon as they get under a little bit of pressure, they buckle, like Sheriff Rumble. You know, he buckled. Come up with some pitiful excuse. What hill do you want me to die on? You know, that is so pathetic. And other sheriffs, and I could mention it. I want to mention him specifically because of Jake Ryan. Sheriff Ward, he never was a true sheriff. He was always in the pockets of those people. You know, he violated his oath. They take an oath to God. They take an oath to God to defend the Constitution against all enemies, both domestic and foreign. Do they not read that? Every politician, everybody elected office takes that same oath. They violate their oaths daily, routinely, and they go home and they sleep. They go home to their families, they act like a good parent, a good father, a good citizen, and they're not. They're not good people. This is a cancer that if we don't stop it, we're all done. It's over with. And I can't scream it loud enough. I can't put enough emotion and feelings into it. I can't express enough passion. I mean, I can't express what's really in my heart. You know? I don't think my body could handle it. If I really let it out, I'd look like a raving maniac. Probably already do. Anyhow, we got patriots in jail. We got patriots in prison all over this country. And they're not going to come out if we don't do something. You know, maybe God will do something. But God helps those that help themselves too, right? I believe that. It's not in the scriptures, but I truly believe that. And we haven't been doing our part. We have not been doing our part. And you know, I pray every day that God, show me what my part is. I want to do my part. I really do. I want to do my part. And I hope you pray for the same thing, that you'll do your part. Because if we don't do our part, I just don't see God helping us. You know, He's not going to do everything for us. He gives us a mind, He gives us a heart, and He gives us a spirit of understanding to learn what our duty is. He doesn't give us, we're not robots. We're not robots where He's just going to take care of everything for us. I wouldn't want to be that way anyhow. You know? We need to be valiant. We need to be, we need to be an extension of God. That's what we need to be. We need to stand on our own 2 feet. This is my prayer. Amen. Thank you.